Hey guys, what's up? It's David, and today is a very special day. The Chilean miners are being rescued as I speak. They are, yeah, I believe three of them have been rescued at the time of recording this video, and the fourth one is on his way. And so, yeah, that is super awesome. And, soothing music. I forgot to turn that off. But yeah, and that kind of, helps segue into what I was wanting to talk about, which was I was wanting to try to do something new with this game. And really it was kind of combining the fun and playfulness that is Minecraft with kind of real life things that we can learn about. And so hopefully that works out well. And today I thought, oh, it's getting dark. What better thing to do than to talk about mining? In Minecraft, if you don't know, one of the many things you do is you mine. You dig holes in the wall and, you know, try to find minerals and stuff like that. And I need to turn off the music. And so mining, you know, mining with a pickaxe and a shovel is not something that hasn't been done before. It was in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. It's basically how they mined for things before they had, you know, the big machines do all the work. And hopefully I was wanting to just shed some light on what that was and maybe put Minecraft in a new perspective for you. And first off, as has been evidenced by real life events, this was very dangerous. Just this right here, the mine shaft. The leading cause of death among miners is these rocks up here, called boulders. I mean, that's just the name for big rocks falling on people or causing cave-ins, like in the Chilean miners' case. I mean, it may not be as specific as just this ceiling rock falling down behind them, but I'm sure someone can correct me and give me the very specific example. But yeah, that was part of the big dangers. Also, another thing that the miners do was, you know, if you're building the mine shaft this way, oh hey look, it's iron ore. You go and you dig for the iron ore. You don't just keep going this way. You follow the vein of ore. And so when you're doing that, you know, you're digging your way through here. And once you get a good little shaft going this way, a little horizontal pathway coming out from the main area that you're digging in, it's called a drift. So a drift is a little area that follows the mine ore. And the dangers of mining weren't always just immediate physical, they were also somewhat chemical. As you can see, sometimes the miners, when they were mining, would be mining in up to 3 inches of water. And this isn't 3 inches, obviously, it's a little more, but it's the water came from the ground, obviously. There was groundwater if you're mining underground, and the water would drip from the ceiling sometimes. And I know what you're thinking, it's water, what does it matter? I mean, hypothermia? Well, most of the time, a lot of groundwater contains hydrogen sulfide, which is a very toxic chemical to humans, and I'm assuming other animals. It's just very toxic in general. And so what would happen is this would, you know, soak into the miners' clothes and drip onto their heads and stuff, and it would start to seep into them and stuff, into their skin. This was very bad. So some of the smarter mining companies had these little rooms right near the exit of the mine where the miners would go in before they left, close the door behind you, be polite, and it was like a little locker room. They could come in and they could take a shower, you know, and then go in here and, oh, whoops, they could change their clothes, change out of their work clothes. As you can see, our miner here has some very fancy work clothes. He's very successful, and put them in the locker and change into their casual clothes. And these were called dog houses, because I guess, I don't know, inferring that miners were dogs. But yeah, that was something that was very helpful to the miners back in the day. And another thing I wanted to talk about with reference to these mines was a topic called the mules. And yes, this is a cow, not a mule, or a donkey, whatever you wish to call it. But Bessie has been method acting for a long time, and she's agreed to take on the role of the mule. And I don't have the heart to tell her yet that mules do not moo, but let's get on with what we were talking about. So the miners, you know, they get pretty down deep in these tunnels, and they'd be, you know, mining for some rocks and some ore and stuff, and, you know, you don't want to carry a bucket all the way back to the entrance of the mine. So what you would do is you would have the mine carts, obviously. And back in the 1800s, and before they had oil and oil and electricity and stuff like that to move mine carts and trains and stuff like that, they would have to use mule power. The mules would basically be tied to the mine cart and would push whatever ore they had been put in there, or even rocks just to get out of the way, and they would push it back to the surface. They would either push it, you know, over here down to this shaft where it'd be hoisted up, or sometimes they would carry it with them, rather than being in the way, all the way back up to the surface on a sloped path. Now they would take it back up near the entrance of the mine shaft, but they would not normally be allowed to go out of it just by carrying the minerals back up, because see what would happen. Oops, I was gonna put a little stopper there. That's how I got the cow, or the mule, excuse me, into here. But what would happen is they didn't want to let the mules out of here just willy-nilly, because these mules spent weeks and weeks and weeks at a time down here in the mines, and if they brought the mules outside in the sunlight, obviously it's dark out right now, but in the sunlight it would mess with their eyes. They could go blind, cause all sorts of neurological damage, and you're out a mule to carry your stuff. And if you've been watching the rescuing of the Chilean miners, they all have sunglasses on to simulate, not to simulate, but to in real life, to show that they don't want any shock to the system. And the Chilean miners had electricity and some very nice light that the mules didn't have back in the day. But the idea is still the same. You gotta really be careful with your eyesight if you've been in the dark for a long time. Isn't that right, Bessie? Come on, Bessie. Take a bow, or a jump. Well, that was mostly what I wanted to talk about today, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Comments, suggestions, constructive criticisms are welcome, and yeah, today's a happy day, so enjoy it, celebrate. Viva Chile. Oh man, butchering every other language other than English. It's what I do best. So, I'll see you guys later. Adios.